Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Goddess Talk. Today, I'm going to be diving in a little deeper, breaking down the Venus retrograde that we are currently experiencing right now. It started on March 1st, and I'll be talking a little bit about Mercury retrograde in Aries. I'll be talking about if you're single, dating, taken, or married, and how this can kind of play out, and things you can just like look out for and take care of yourself at this time when it comes to the relationship with yourself and others. So, in my previous video, you can go back on my channel and kind of look at that. I went a little bit in depth about Venus retrograde. I will do a little recap now. So we are in a Venus retrograde, and it's retrograding in two signs. So it's retrograding in Aries and Pisces. If you're familiar with your natal chart, you have 12 houses. None of them are usually split up evenly. So the retrograde might be hitting two different houses in your chart right now. What does this exactly mean for somebody that is watching that wants tips on relationship but not really know doesn't really know what astrology is? Here's what I can say. It's a time of reevaluation of your values, the way that you take care of yourself and love yourself, and how you want your future relationships to be like or feel like. This can be very detailed. This can be a reevaluation of past experiences and you learning from it, and finally kind of settling in with what you learned right now and knowing how to move forward with the information you got in the recent years about how you present yourself in relationships, how you give in relationships, and how you allow others to do the same for you. And with the planet going retrograde, this can really play out different ways. So let's kind of like break down um how this can play out when it comes to being single. So if you're single right now and you are currently dating, here's what I can say. Just because I'm in this category right now. I'm single. I've been putting myself out there a little bit more when it comes to in person and online dating. And here's what I can say. During a Venus retrograde, if you're single and you're dating and you're, talking to people and trying to get to know people, I would say take everything with a grain of salt and continue getting to know everyone you connect with. It's not a time to settle down. It's not a time to make any solid decisions right now. It's a time for you to just continue getting to know the people you're connecting with and sticking to um the limitations and boundaries you have on yourself when it comes to connecting. Let's say, for example, you have a boundary of like, if someone doesn't reply to you in, I don't know, 2 3 days, you're gonna not talk to them anymore. There's a lesson here about sticking to your regimen when it comes to dating. And if you don't have a dating strategy and you're just out here for the vibes, I'm gonna tell you right now that this Venus retrograde might really whip you into shape and have you reevaluate how you do dating. I personally have had to learn how to date and what that means for me because my parents did not teach me. So if you're on the same boat, if you experienced CPTSD as a child, um, complex post-traumatic traumatic stress disorder, if you've experienced anything like that in your childhood, you most likely have not been taught how to date and need to find a strategy. I'll maybe make a separate video on how I came into my strategy, but like I said, if you're single and you're dating, it's not a time to commit. It's a time to continuously get to know the people you're getting to know and take the rose colored glasses off right now. Really see people for who they are. Listen to your intuition. If something feels off, It might very well be, but you might not get all the information why it's off right now until the retrograde is done. So, um, you might connect with someone and really think, "Hey, this is a really good match, great potential here." And when Venus goes direct, confirmation. Okay, period. Let me put this on silent. Give me 1 second, y'all. Um, so you might not have all the information right now, or the information presented to you right now about someone may not be clear. And when the retrograde goes direct, which is April 12th, give 2 weeks. So maybe the end of April, you might find out information about the person or just realize, like, hey, like this person doesn't align with my lifestyle. Right, but it's totally okay to, like, take on a date, continue, don't let this like, stop your entire, quest for love. Don't let it stop your quest for love, but do take the time when you feel like you need to reevaluate things and something isn't working, because I'm online dating and in person being open to that, I have very strict boundaries. If someone doesn't respond within 3 days, I'll unmatch. If someone's not willing to meet within a week, I'll politely say, "Hey, like this is not my pace," or whatever. I'm ready to let it go and just as fast allow new people in, and sticking to the strategy. Don't loosen up right now. Right now is not the time to loosen up and settle and like, oh, maybe they were busy. That's why they didn't hit me, or there's a theme here of really placing yourself first, because this Venus retrograde is in Aries. Aries represents the self. It represents the head in astrology, and it's a very selfish energy, very bold, very courageous, very leader-like qualities. So there's something here about you focusing that energy within and really examining, like, what like the strategy I'm presenting for myself out there on my quest to love, does it really align with what I want, or am I going about it in a way that aligns with the best, the highest timeline possible. Um so that's my advice there. If you have been talking to someone for a few weeks or like a few months and it's not official yet and you're technically still single, if there's not like some solid foundation between you and the connection that you've had like in your energy for a little bit, this might be a time for it to really crumble. Like, we're gonna have to start from scratch, or it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna let this go. Okay, so that's my advice for singles out there dating. um if you're into casual hookups and stuff like that, which if you have CPTSD, I don't recommend. But if you are into that, it's kind of like a perfect but imperfect time for that. Like, if you want a one-time thing, this is the time for that. It might be a one-time thing. Um, just be mindful though, because things can turn into a situationship with the Venus retrograde. It's like, oh my gosh, it happened once, and then it's happening more and more, and then you're caught up in a situationship. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so let's move on to people who are already in a relationship, labeled as taken during the Venus retrograde. So if you've been in a relationship and you're taken, if you label yourself as that with your relationship status, this Venus retrograde can really bring you guys together in a deeper way. You might just feel like, wow, there's parts of my person that I haven't really dissected and got to know over the X amount of time we've been together, and it's happening now. It might be a time where your person is struggling with finances, or an issue at hand, whether it's health, finances, whatever. They can be struggling with an issue, and you might feel like you're being neglected, or you're not getting enough from this person. But like I said, if there's a solid foundation in place and you're taken, this isn't going to do anything to the relationship. It might just like bring you guys together in a deeper way. Like, wow, like we just got through that. Like when the Venus retrograde is over, it might give you that feeling like, wow, we just got through those little like hard times of like, okay, what does it look like when we can join finances? Like, do you want to live together? Like talks like that might happen during this time, and you kind of get an idea of where your person is at when it comes to things that matter within relationship and really joining together. If there's no solid foundation, I will let you know right now that breakups are surely possible during this time. If it's a toxic situation, if it's a situationship, if it's something not in alignment with your highest self, and I know you guys know what that is and what that looks like. I don't have to sit here and explain to you guys. If someone is for the best version of you. We all internally know who's for us and who isn't when we're dealing with them. Um, so if you're in a situation where the foundation is not strong and there's no real connection, it's superficial, this might be a time where, yeah, you might have to let it go. You can let it play its course until after the retrograde and then fully end it. Or if it ends right now, you might take it hard, and it might take you the entire retrograde to kind of like get yourself together, feel better about yourself, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so that's for my taken people. For my married couples, wow, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really feel like I don't wanna cry, but I really feel like right now for married couples is a time for you guys to explore what it means to take care of yourselves within a relationship. What does that look like? What does it look like giving yourselves both time, but also like creating the harmony within the marriage and continuing it, right? Especially, if there's solid foundation and it's a pretty healthy marriage. Um, there's a theme here right now of like, what does it look like for us to take care of each other separately and together? Okay. I also feel like when Venus is retrograde and what it looks like to marry couples, this can also be a time of like like strapping down on finances, maybe like planning to save for something, or changing the way that you guys have a relationship within your finances. This can be really reevaluation about things in the past that you've seen not really work, and like, I can't continue on, like we got to get something together, like maybe the kids schedule and your schedule and my schedule, it's not in harmony. How can we make it more harmonious? There's going to be definitely some just reevaluation, going back to things, also just like encompassing everything. These retrogrades are like coming back to an energy from 2017. So if you want to explore your past and see what was going on in your love life and relationships around you in 2017, it's a pretty good indicator of what might happen right now. So anyways, back to our married couples, this also might be a time for you guys to deepen your bond, stripping the layers of vulnerability, connecting deeper, being honest with each other, like, hey, like I just really like, I can't stand when you leave your boxers in the bathroom. It really drives me crazy, and I know it's something so small, but like I would love for you to just like handle that. There's something about like just bringing up things that weren't working or haven't worked, and just expressing them um without fear, and putting yourself first within a marriage too. I'll say here, like, I've never been married, I've had serious relationships, but as I've grown and learned and I envision my own marriage, I think that giving each other time for yourself in separation is really important, and together as well. It's like, we're gonna have spa days separately, and then we can have spa days together sometimes. Um, so yeah, that's what I think about the Venus retrogrades when it comes to different relationship status and how to navigate it. Like I said, Venus in Aries is very bold, very selfish, very domineering. Aries want what they want, they go after it. They're not afraid. They are really fearless. And if they do have some type of fear, they don't show it. They're going to still move forward, okay? And when it retrogrades back in Pisces, Pisces is like the dreamer, the spiritualist, the mystic, the person out of the friend group who loves smoking weed. Like Pisces is the ethereal realm, things you cannot see. So there's something here about when it goes back into Pisces, you really making sure you're seeing things for what they are and the facts, okay? The facts, because it's retrograding into Aries and Pisces. I really feel like embracing the opposite energy of those two signs, which is Libra is the opposite sign of Aries and Virgo is the opposite side of Pisces. Really embracing the collaboration when it comes to that Venus and Aries energy. Is like, how can I collaborate with myself in the world, but also give myself enough time and love myself deeply? Right? It's like that's the theme going on here. And then when it retrogrades into Pisces, it's like, how can I um stay grounded within my emotions of love? How can I stay grounded within that ethereal feeling you feel, and like you seeing the trees blow and you're holding your person's hand? Like, how can I still stay grounded within that and see everything through a factual lens, which is Virgo? Okay. What else, y'all? Let's get into the Mercury retrograde a little bit. Um, Mercury retrograde goes retrograde more often than any other planet. So, most of us are kind of familiar with the inconveniences that it brings. It could play out differently based on the house your chart is in, but for the most part, it rules over communication, transportation, and it's going retrograde in Aries. So I was watching some astrology videos, and everyone's like, be careful what you say right now, because after the Mercury retrograde you might regret it. And it's very true. If there's any conflicts right now with anybody, family members, um romantic partnerships, be mindful of what you say right now, because it could really really cut deep. Okay, Mercury and Aries, like I said, Aries is like bold. It's like, I walk in a room and I'm that bad bee and y'all gonna respect it. Okay, Aries is a very bold, fiery energy. And the god of communication, Mercury, is swirling in Aries, going retrograde. Okay, so it's causing this chaos. It's gonna make us want to like speak up more. It's gonna make us get impatient and maybe say things we don't mean. If you're mindful of this and if you're watching this video, you have a one up on other people with this awareness and the astrology. So be the example to others right now. If you are in conflict with your person, or anyone else, be mindful of that, and know that you have the upper hand, because this information. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably don't move around the world like you want to hurt people. I think that my collective of people are mindful and they care about how they treat others. So there's a time, that energy right now, it's like, don't say things that you don't mean, because after the retrograde, it's really gonna bite you in the ass. Um, I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. But I think that's kind of it, you guys. I'm gonna pop in and make more videos as these retrogrades continue on. Um, we have a lot of different planetary changes in 2025. Nobody's life is going to look the same after this year. There's going to be, especially in the world, things are going to really change. I'm not going to get into it right now, but this is like that culmination right now. I feel like we're on a culmination stage. So if you're really focused on love, if you're really focused on relationship, if you're really focused on money and your career and changing it, um, just, be mindful that right now things might feel slow. They might feel like things are not going your way. Just trust what is presented to you during this retrograde. All the data that you gather, all the data coming in from others, from yourself. What is it telling you? And when the retrograde is done, how can I work with all the data that I just received? Okay. I think that's it, you guys. If you watch this all the way through, I really appreciate it. I am available for tarot readings. I'm available for readings regarding the retrogrades and what house that's going to be in your natal chart. We can break all that down. You can DM me on Instagram. The Goddess Talk is my Instagram. No spaces, no weird characters, just The Goddess Talk on Instagram. You can DM me over there and, book a call, book a service, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.